Let's focus on our lead story this hour. It's D-Day for Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane. She's appearing before the Magistrates Court in Pretoria on charges of perjury. Accountability Now Director Advocate Paul Hoffman laid the complaint against her in 2019. The organization wants the Public Protector to step aside. Advocate Hoffman now joining us this morning. Advocate, well, the day has arrived where Busisiwe Mkhwebane is now in court following your perjury complaint. How are you feeling now?
Well, I think that this is but the first step of a long process that has more than a little to do with the fact that the Public Protector has elected to take long leave at this stage of her term of office. She's really in a situation where she's between a rock and a hard place. The perjury case will end her term of office and she will be issued with orange overalls if she's found guilty. The Legal Practice Council is investigating whether she should be struck off the roll for the way that she trifled with our High Court and Constitutional Court in the matter which led to the laying of the perjury complaint. And Parliament itself is at the early stages of its process to determine her removal from office on the basis of her mendacity and her incompetence. In addition to that, she finds herself being litigated against by people as different as Ace Magashula, who doesn't like the report that she has prepared in relation to his premiership of the Free State, the president himself, who doesn't like the remedial action he's been ordered to take, both in relation to his fundraising with CR17 and in relation to things that Pravin Gordhan is meant to have done wrong and which the court has found were not misconduct at all on his part. So there are just too many irons in the fire for the Public Protector to continue to fight with everybody. It must be exhausting.
Yes.
And at some point, she's going to have to review her own situation and decide whether it is appropriate for her to continue in office.
Now, let's look at the one of those irons, which is this particular case that's in front of the Pretoria Magistrate Court today. I saw an article, I had a statement from the NPA saying they've laid 3 counts or charges, 3 counts of lying under oath. Just remind our viewers of the background of where you came in to lay your complaint of perjury against her.
Yes, my trouble with the Public Protector goes all the way back to January 2017, when she lied to me in an email she sent me. What happened was that your colleagues in the media were pestering me for a copy of the preliminary report in respect of the Absa lifeboat SA Reserve Bank matter that subsequently went all the way to the Constitutional Court. So I wrote to her and said, I'm getting requests for a preliminary report. We are the complainant in the matter. We know nothing about it. Does a preliminary report exist? And she wrote back and said, no, it doesn't. And the next thing, one of your colleagues sent me a copy of a preliminary report signed by her with a covering letter which refers to that report 3 times and also signed by her, addressed to President Zuma as he then was. And the preliminary report does not contemplate what came out in the final report, which was a revision of the mandate of the Reserve Bank, something which is way beyond the pay grade of a Public Protector, and which remedial action was set aside in the High Court, and also that was confirmed in the Constitutional Court. And the judges in the Constitutional Court made severe adverse findings about her trifling with the truth on oath in the affidavits that were filed in that matter. If she'd had any insight into what she had done, she would have resigned then and there, instead of which she has soldiered on to the point now where she has made an enemy of everybody, from the president through to the Secretary General of the ANC and on to most of the NGO sector that is active in the civil rights
it seems to me
area.
It seems to me, being a non-legal person, I mean, that she's really, as you said earlier, caught between a rock and a hard place. And we just got news now that she did appear briefly in the Pretoria Magistrate Court, and the case has been postponed to the 25th of March. Now, knowing what you know, and just having explained this background the way you've done, and making the statement that she's made an enemy of more people than what she could have hoped for, are you confident that in this particular case of perjury that she's facing, with those 3 counts or charges of lying under oath, that she will lose the case?
Yes, look, in the Constitutional Court judgment, it has been found on a balance of probabilities that she has lied on oath. That is the test in civil proceedings, and the judges have criticized her for it, and the judges have ordered her to pay part of the costs for trifling with the truth on oath, which is something no advocate should ever do in any circumstances. So the question in the perjury prosecution is whether the NPA will be able to establish beyond a reasonable doubt that the public protector has committed perjury, and they will obviously be able to rely on the findings of the Constitutional Court in the matter. So I would suggest, and this is probably why she's elected to take leave while long leave is available to her, I would suggest that the public protector has been advised that it will be very difficult for her to avoid a conviction, and she will assume the Stalingrad strategy position so beloved of former President Zuma, and proceed to roll stones in the way of the prosecution by asking for further particulars, making representations to the National Director of Public Prosecutions not to proceed against her, and then taking whatever decision she doesn't like in that regard on review, basically to spin out the term of her 7-year appointment starting in October 2016.
Okay, now
if she wants to do that, she's in a terrible bind. Her life is going to be miserable.
Okay, I mean, just to let you know, as I said earlier, and our viewers are now aware, because on the bottom of our screens, we're breaking the story that she did appear in court in Pretoria, and of course, she's facing those 3 counts of perjury. And as you said last week, she announced that she was taking this long break to rest until the end of March, but we understand the case has now been postponed to March, to the 25th of March, as we are breaking the story. Just final word, I mean, you are a party in this. You've laid the complaint, you brought about the charge, and you've painted this background so well for us that, to me, as a lay person, seems that she really has no way out except to step aside, but she's not doing so, looking, as you said, for that Stalingrad type of approach, which will not really assist a Chapter 9 institution like the Public Protector's Office. I mean, she's facing all those challenges, even from the President himself, as you've said, from the ANC Secretary General, Ace Makashole, for all kinds of reports, and others. What would be advisable? I mean, if you were in a position, I know you are an interested party in this, but just step back from it all. As accountability now, I mean, she should have gone some time ago.
Yes, when we got into a pickle with her back in January 2017, it was apparent from the way that she handled our reservations about what was going on, that she did not know how to run her office. She did not know how preliminary reports should be regarded as confidential and should be given to the complainant. That never happened in that case. And she ought to have had some explanation for lying to us about the existence of the preliminary report. So we asked her 30 questions around it, and we got ourselves into a situation where the public protector refused to answer the questions on the spurious basis that I'm unable to investigate myself. Take your complaint to Parliament. Well, we did take our complaint to Parliament, and because she was royal game in the Zuma administration, Parliament did absolutely nothing to get her to answer those 13 questions. And had she done so, her entire career path might have been different. I am sure that today she regrets that she chose the arrogant and ignorant response to our sensible questions that were designed to find out what was going on.
Okay, thank you very much, Advocate. We'll have to leave you there.